Well, since I did my favorite movies of 2022, it's time to talk about what are my least favorite of 2022. Not the worst, they're just movies that I pretty much didn't like or I liked the least of this year. So let's go ahead and get this list over with. Let's get through a few honorable mentions in here. The Adam Project. I know a lot of people seem to like this one, but it just didn't work for me that well. Sonic the Hedgehog 2, again, another movie I know a lot of people liked, but honestly, I'm just not a fan of Sonic. I find him to be annoying and the rest of the characters. Except for Jim Carrey, he was a little fun. Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness, still the most disappointing movie of the year, and it would have been on the list, but you were just shy, so you're just at number 11. And finally, Halloween Ends. It probably should have ended up on this list, mostly because it was a bad movie, but I was fascinated by it, and I thought that it was enjoyable for how bad it was, so I decided to just put it here as an honorable mention, just so that people know that I watched it and thought it was stupid, but technically enjoyed it. Alright, let's go ahead and get started with number 10. Coming in at number 10 is going to be Thor: Love and Thunder. I'm kind of tired of the MCU treating Thor as a joke. There is a Thor movie in here that would have been really good. I like some of the places that they go to. They seem epic and nice. I think Christian Bale's character is the best thing in this film. The journey he was on looked like it was very fascinating. But everything that was going on with Thor, Lady Thor, the whole Zeus thing was just stupid. I didn't like it. I just didn't like what they did with it, man. Coming in at number 9 is going to be Jurassic World Dominion, and it will be the final Jurassic Park movie that I will ever watch. And if there is going to be a new Jurassic Park movie that will come out, I am not going to watch it. I'm tired of these movies doing the exact same problems that I always keep seeing them doing. They even brought back the original cast that was in the original Jurassic Park trilogy, and they felt just as useless and pointless as the other characters in here. There were a couple of action scenes I like, and I kind of like Jeff Goldblum just being Jeff Goldblum and weird, but he was pretty much being a caricature of what Jeff Goldblum was within the first Jurassic Park movie. This is the third movie within the Jurassic World franchise, so technically it's a trilogy. If they're making more, not gonna see it. Not interested in seeing any more. Coming in at number 8 is probably going to be a very divisive one, because maybe people think it shouldn't deserve to be on this list. A lot of people really like it, but there are other people that don't like it. And that's going to be Turning Red. I mean, Disney is trying to do something new in here, and I like that they tried to take in that risk, and if it was being mature and respectable with it, I wouldn't have minded this movie, but it doesn't feel like it was doing that. I didn't like the execution that this movie was taking itself into. I didn't like the way the movie handled its comedy. I didn't like the way it handled its characters. I didn't like the way it handled the message. It felt like it made no sense. You're not talking about being yourself when you're going through puberty. That doesn't make any sense. There's moments in this film where I know it's trying to be a good movie, and I can see the good movie that's trying to come out here. It's just, again, this execution and the way that they're handling this, it doesn't work. Coming in at number 7 is going to be Memory. I like seeing Liam Neeson action films, even if they're stupid, even if there are people that don't like them. I will always go ahead and buy a ticket just to see a dumb Liam Neeson action film, just because I want to see Liam Neeson punch some people and have some fun. But this movie decided to take in the liberty to not do that and tried to make it a lot more complicated and boring than it ever has been. This movie just ended up being forgettable. I don't even remember what happened in here. You don't make a schlocky action film by trying to create complex characters and have other subplots of other stuff going on in here. Just fight a bunch of bad guys that you hate and you want to see get punished, and just have an enjoyable time. And it wasn't that. It was just bland. Speaking of Liam Neeson, coming in at number 6 is going to be Blacklight. Fool me once, shame on me. Fool me twice, shame on you. I think this one is worse than Memory because I remember the acting and the writing in here being terrible. And I didn't know whether to put this one underneath Memory, mostly because some of it is kind of entertaining because it's so bad, but a majority of it is just boring. There's nothing else to say except that this movie just sucks. That's it. Coming in at number 5 is going to be Morbius. A lot of people really hate this film. I don't hate it as much as other people do, but it's definitely one of the most forgettable Marvel movies that I have watched. The effects and some of the action in here is just covered in a CGI schlock fest, and it just looks gross. In the beginning, it felt like I can see where this movie was trying to be interesting, at least with Jared Leto's character, but then it just lent itself into being some of the most cliche dialogue that I've already seen in other comic book films. And the post-credit scene is not really worth it either. It doesn't even make any sense. If anything, it just makes it even more confusing with what they're trying to do with Sony and Marvel. Coming in at number 4 is going to be the Pinocchio remake. Again, a movie that a lot of people really hate. I don't hate it just as much as everyone else does. But yeah, this is a bad movie. It's kind of the same problem that I have with other Disney remakes. They're showing the same stuff again that I've already seen before within the original. The new stuff that they added in here, some of it doesn't really go anywhere, and others, they don't make sense at all. Plus, the message that they have in the movie just goes in the wrong direction, and it feels like it's turning itself down for the worse. I'm not sure what Robert Zemeckis had in mind when making this movie. I mean, he used to make some of the greatest movies ever, and now he's doing this. What happened, man? Coming in at number 3 is a movie I didn't expect to be this high, but I decided to put it up here anyway. That's Fantastic Beasts 3. I'm tired of this franchise. I'm not going to see any more movies just like the Jurassic Park franchise. I don't want to see any more of this franchise. I'm so sick and tired of these movies being made. I wasn't even going to see this movie. I was tricked by some people who didn't like the first 2 movies and thought this one was actually an improvement, so I decided to give this movie a chance, and when I saw it, just infuriated me because I thought the movie was insanely boring. Maybe it's better than the first 2, it's better than the second one, I guess, but it's not saying much by a long shot. Kudos for those that want to go ahead and see this franchise move forward, but I'm done. Coming in at number 2 is going to be Firestarter. A lot of people went and saw Top Gun Maverick early that time. I saw Firestarter instead. I hate that that happened. I tried to list off anything that was positive about this movie. Just like anything that could have been positive, and I just got nothing off the top of my head. The writing sucked. The acting sucked. The direction, like the cinematography is garbage. I decided to see this movie mostly because it's a Stephen King adaptation, and Stephen King adaptations can be really good if you do it correctly, but this one has decided to make it bland and boring. Zac Efron has proven to be a good actor, but when I saw him in this film, it looked like he didn't even want to be here. In fact, it looked like nobody wanted to be here. It was a pile of garbage from beginning to end. I hated that I sat through the whole thing and wasted my entire time with this one. This one just sucks. I didn't like it. So out of all the movies that I have seen this year, what's my least favorite movie of the year, or the one that I would probably consider to be the worst one, mostly out of all the films that I have seen? It's Deep Water. This movie made me so mad, mostly because when I saw the trailers, I felt like I knew exactly what it was going to do, but this movie pretends that it's trying to say a little bit more. I continued to watch it throughout the entire time because I wanted to see if it wanted to try and say something more, and I felt like I was tricked into thinking that it was probably going to say more. But instead, it was doing the exact thing that I knew it was doing from the start. You could just call this Cuck, the movie. And the movie got me so mad that it made me feel like I was a cuck. I hated that I sat through the entire thing. I hated that I saw all that was going on in here. I hate that I was tricked into thinking that there was something good in here, and it just wasted my time. Nothing made me feel like it was worth watching it. And I hated that it felt like it was trying to say something more than it was intending to. Affleck and Ana de Armas, please go and make like better movies than this. So, what's your least favorite movie of the year, or what movie would you consider to be the worst of 2022? Put your thoughts down in the comment section below, and let's have a conversation about it. And like this video if you agree with what I say, or dislike this video if you disagree with what I say. I don't mind the dislikes. So that is it I have for today's video. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll be sure to see you in the next video.